Hey everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an intuitive astrologer and I'm here today to talk about today's full moon in Capricorn. This is happening at 6:07 p.m. Pacific time. And I think this is, once again, I say this often that these transits are quite significant, but this is a significant full moon because we had two new moons in Aries in March and April of 2023. And when we had the new moons in Aries back to back, it changed the cycles from a new moon at the beginning of the month to a full moon in the beginning of the month. And so now what we're going to see is two full moons in Capricorn that is going to recalibrate the moon cycle so that we go back to a new moon at the beginning of the month. Now, Aries naturally squares the Capricorn energy. Now, Aries is the first house, Capricorn is the 10th house in the natural wheel. But the ruler of Aries, Mars, is exalted in the Capricorn energy. So while there is tension between these two signs, there is also a sense of cooperation and mutual intention. Both are leaders, both are ambitious in their own way, both want to build and to discover what they're capable of in the material plane. So here, I'm bringing up the new moons that happened in 2023. The first was on March 21st at 0 degrees of Aries. It happened at 10:23 a.m. Pacific time. I'm telling you this so that you can go back and look at what was going on in your own personal chart. The second was on April 19th at 9:32 p.m. at 29 degrees of Aries, and this was an eclipse. So eclipses bring in fated events, new beginnings. We know that Chiron has been transiting through the house of Aries. So this is pretty significant, an opportunity to look at the wound and transform it into a gift. Now I want to go and talk about the first of two full moons in Capricorn. So we had the new moons in Aries that were offering us a pioneering spirit to plant the seeds for a new experience, to be brave and heroic in our own lives, to look at potentially where anger and resentment have held me back, especially that second one at 29 degrees of Aries. Well, the first new moon was significant because it was at the world axis of 0 degrees. Then the second new moon in Aries was at 29 degrees, which is the master number of thought. 29 reduces down to an 11. An 11 gives us an opportunity to understand the ebb and the flow of the human mind and how it doesn't go static. At the same time, the 29 represents the Leo degree of leadership, of trusting my heart and having the courage to move forward in that direction. Now, we're going to look at the full moon in Capricorn about what we have built and how whatever structures, how strong is our structure is the way I want to look at that. How enduring is it? How much will it sustain the emotional storms that come as we walk through our lives and try to create the best possible experience we can? So what I want to do is put up the chart right now. Let me share that. Dun, 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 dun. All right. So here we see that today, June 21st, 2024, we have a full moon in Capricorn. The sun is in Cancer, and here is the moon creating an opposition. Now, a full moon is always the brightest phase of the moon, where the moon is reflecting the sun's light, and it gives us an opportunity to really see what we have been manifesting, what our momentum is. And we can see that we have a square to Neptune at 29 degrees of Pisces. Neptune is going to retrograde before it leaves the sign of Pisces, and it will enter Aries in March of 2025. Right now, Saturn is standing off. It is literally standing in the sky, preparing to retrograde in just a few days. So this focal point of Neptune, and I bring up Saturn because Saturn, while it is not a focal point in the T-square, it is in the house of illusions, of fantasy. And with Neptune being the focal point of this full moon, where have I been building my structures on what is not sustainable? Have I been depending on people? Have I been looking to situations that have historically shown me one vibration, and I'm been hoping that that vibration would change, or that idea would change, or that person would change, or the situation would, I could continue to prove more value. This is powerful because when we get to the next full moon at the end of the month, which is actually in July, let me grab the date real quick. The full moon is going to be on the 21st. So the second full moon will be at 29 degrees of Capricorn. There's a little theme here that Aries was at 0 degrees. This full moon is at 1 degree. So this is the beginning of our illumination, where fear has held us back, where illusion, fantasy, where our own wanting to escape our greatness potentially has held us back. And then we'll walk through the next month through July, and we'll have an opportunity to really fine tune the structures. And I want to offer this too, because Capricorn rules fear, depression, limitation, feeling restricted in many ways, having to follow the rules, and not necessarily your own rules, but the rules of government, the rules of authority in your life. This is an opportunity to really look at those authorities and if they are in alignment with your chapter of life. Oftentimes we hold on to structures through the years that become habitual. We do them without thinking about them. For instance, the idea is that money doesn't grow on trees and that you have to work hard in order to achieve. These are all human constructs that are not necessarily aligned to the divine laws of the universe. So as we see this 1 degree, the brave degree of Aries, making an opposition to the moon, offering an illumination of how I shine my light, how I nurture myself, how I take care of myself, how I give life to my dreams. We see that Venus is in Cancer, and she is conjunct the sun. Mercury is pretty far out there. It's almost an 8-degree orb. But Venus here, this is really about my self-worth, about how I take care of myself, about what do I believe about the idea of my partnerships, and the things that make me feel like life is worth living. That's very much what Venus rules, a sense of luxury and comfort and good food and good friends and good partnerships. So I think that is going to be on in your awareness during this time and throughout this month. We also see the sun is making a quincunx to Pluto retrograde. And this is fairly significant because we may not be able to see our transformation immediately. We may not be able to see how we're the imprint is. Pluto rules the 8th house, and while the 8th house rules other people's money and it rules sex, it rules that deep psychological imprint, the one that's branded onto your brain that you don't even know that you have because you were raised in a certain environment around certain people that sang the same song over and over again. In my house, again, money doesn't grow on trees. Children were meant to be seen and not heard. Suffer, it builds character. These are very mid-century modern cliches that parents used. And this imprint could inadvertently be blindsiding you. You don't see it, and it's been holding you back from shining your light and the things that you want out into your personal world. Now, when I say shine your light, I'm not talking about telling everybody, what your light is, what you want. This is not about an announcement. It's about digging into a deeper belief and representing that belief in your everyday life. So this illumination of the moon in Capricorn, the construct of my life, where my fears hold me back, where I allow myself to see the dark side versus the potentials, where I inadvertently give up my power to another because it feels like the right thing to do. Capricorn is very much about doing the right thing, but who is making the rules of the right thing? That's what is being illuminated. And while there is Neptune is very prominent in this energy, because Neptune is not only a bit of an escape artist, it's also a very spiritual planet that allows me to see the divinity within the disruptions I've experienced. And rather than having them pull me back or drown me, I can swim through them and rise above them. I think this is very, very powerful. Other than Venus and Neptune, we're not seeing a lot of, and Pluto, of course, we're not seeing a lot of aspects to the other planets right now. But I want to offer this idea because when we are talking about the Capricorn energy, we're talking about an opportunity to build wealth, to build a stable ground to walk on, to build something that's enduring and that has stands the test of time. So when these illuminations come to you, or these epiphanies, or you start to process something and you realize that you've been operating on an old system, an old way of thinking, believing, an old confidence level, rather than getting up your own grill and getting mad at yourself, I think it would really be a generous act to be kind to yourself and recognize that the blind side, pardon me, the blind side, the quincunx, this spot where I don't see, and it creates an unconscious tension. This is something that, as it comes into your awareness, is just a new piece of information, and not a place to hang your hat on shoulda, coulda, woulda. So I hope that makes sense. So while this is a powerful full moon, it's the first, again, of 2 Capricorn full moons. Capricorn is really that authority in our life. It will represent the father in many ways. The sun also represents the father, but the Saturn can represent the father, the grandfather, elders in our life that hold dominion over us. And it can also be because we are invested in their opinion of us. That we may love them and we may want them to celebrate us, and inadvertently in wanting them to approve and celebrate us, we've defaulted to their structure of our lives, or their structure or way of thinking. And this is an opportunity to see that and then allow yourself to reframe things that is more current to who and what you are and what you want to experience in this life moving forward. All right, that's it for my quick little ditty on the full moon in Capricorn. I will be live on Sunday morning, the 23rd, 11 a.m. Pacific time, where we will do our angel readings and pull a tarot card for each one of the signs and get the angels' advice for traversing the transits ahead, the week ahead. Again, my name is Teri Hunter. Please like, please subscribe, please share, and I'll be back next month with your new moon in Cancer. See you soon, folks.